And nice. We are live. The BlabberMouths. We are on episode Who Cares? And here we go with the BlabberMouth intro.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here it comes, my favorite part.
I do not say blah, blah, blah.
I love that. Every time, little Adam Sandler. Every time. All right, people, here we go. So this one's going to be hot. Very little controversial, although today brought up something cool. So we will delve into that. So if you did not read the blog, it is all about the teacher salesperson. And because it was Makisha's blog, there's the link to it, I will let her, we'll do intros real quick, then we'll get into it. So first, Makisha, can you tell us a little bit?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Keisha. You probably know me on Twitter as Keisha for Tech, or maybe you just don't know me at all. But my Twitter handle is Keisha for Tech. I was a 7th grade reading ELA teacher. Now I teach at the elementary level as a technology integration specialist / technology educator, pre-K through 6, and I am super excited to be joining all of you wonderful fellas on BlabberMouth tonight.
Fantastic, and we love having you here, especially when your blog was fantastic. All right, Mr. Milne, you want to go next?
Yeah, I guess I'm one of the original BlabberMouths, right? Andy Milne, originally from London, but now living out here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Been out of school since May 25th, so been kicking back, having some family time, mixing in some PD at the same time, but really happy to be back on board and joining in tonight's discussion. Love the blog this weekend.
Nice. And our newest guest, who was here last week, back by popular demand, Annabelle. Want to tell us?
Sure. My name is Annabelle Pacheco. I come to you guys from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a reformed lifelong learner. I'm kind of the guy behind the scenes, I've done a little bit of everything in this life. I was in the Army for 21 years. I retired from that, went to work doing the same thing that I was doing in the Army. And then I actually ended up finding education all over again. I was a student at a community college, and then right after I graduated, they hired me. And I ended up working for them for 3 years, and the rest is history. I'm here with you guys now.
Fantastic. Anyone who's willing to fight for our country is much more of an American than I am. So we appreciate that, sir, because I'll talk some talk and write a couple words, but I'm not fighting anybody. So you are a true American hero, and anyone else in the military out there.
I'm just a guy.
Nah. Anyway, my name is Justin Schleider, BlabberMouth. That's about it. I'm a blabbermouth. We'll stop it there. So, Keisha, tell us, where did this come from? Because we had a blog idea. Actually, I had a blog idea, and then Keisha wrote her first half of the blog, and then I saw her half of the blog. I said, I don't even know what I was talking about. Let's just go with what you have. So tell us what's going on.
Well, you know what? I feel like the issue of making money from these ed tech companies, I feel like for whatever reason, that has been so pervasive. And this is only my 7th year in education, but it seems like this moment right now, within the last several months to a year, it has just exploded. And I forget what exactly the discussion was this week, but it had me thinking back to my first career out of school, and it was a sales position, and then later on I moved into a facilitator position. But I remember, you know, just like I wrote in that blog, that sales position, man, when those vendors came out and started saying, listen, sell our item and we'll send you here, we'll give you this. And like I said, you know, man, that's when the sharks would come out. It's like, it doesn't matter if that was the best product. It did not matter if we knew that that wasn't the best product. A lot of people were just trying to, quote unquote, get a check.
Yeah, get theirs.
And so, you know, the thing is, when money's involved like that, when people have the opportunity to just make money or to go places, that's so enticing. But in the education field, is that kind of where we're going? You know, is that how companies now are going to pursue teachers with these, you know, kind of incentives, and will teachers bite? And I don't know. It just seems like it's just been so pervasive. So I figured it was worth talking about. You know, I've seen it in the corporate world. So maybe, you know, education's kind of moving that way. I don't know where it's headed, but I figured it's worth talking about.
Absolutely. Do you blame and we can talk about any education, do you blame these companies? I mean, think about it from, you were in the business world. You have these people with 40, 50, 60, 70,000 followers. Their word is taken as gospel. Wouldn't you want to get in their ear and have them espousing your product, saying how great it is, and going, and you really, I mean, what do you have to pay them? What are you giving them? Minimal stuff. I mean, you see teachers freaking out for a t-shirt. Like, doing all this hard work, putting on presentation. They give you a cotton t-shirt. I have 4,000 cotton t-shirts. Every year I get a garbage bag and I throw them. I give them to donations because there's so many. Yet because, it wrote this company's name on it, we're going to do all this craziness for them. I mean, I can't blame the company. I kind of have to look at the teachers and say, what's going on in their head? Andy, what are you?
Well, one of the things that actually resonated with Makisha's words in the blog was that whole concept of, if you're a salesperson, pretty much you'll do anything for the money, because you're probably on a fairly minimal salary and it's all about the bonuses. Not many people know that I actually dropped out of teaching after 7 years and worked in recruitment. So I was selling a product. I was selling humans, trying to find them new positions. And you know what? I didn't believe in the product. And it was really selling weird.
People?
Yeah, pretty much, right? Because I had financial individuals, so accountants, and accountants would come to me and they wanted me to find them a new job. So I'd find these guys, you know, $10,000, $20,000 salary rises.
Oh, you were a headhunter.
Yeah, right. So then, but then when I wasn't a human trafficker. But when I
that's good to know. I'm glad you clarified that for us.
But when it came to securing the deal, the rest of my team couldn't work out why I wasn't, like, you know, high-fiving everybody and leaping in the air. It's because it didn't mean anything to me. You know, I've taught a kid without fingers to catch a basketball. I taught a blind kid to swim. You know, so I've done so much more significant things in education. So I knew that I wasn't cut out to be a salesperson. So jump back into teaching as soon as possible. So that was the first thing that kind of got me in the heart when Makisha wrote that, because it reminded me of that time when I was being encouraged to lie and sell a product that I didn't really believe in.
Annabelle, what do you think?
Well, I can tell you that what you guys are talking about not only happens in education, it happens in the defense sector of the world. I was a contracting officer. That was one of my jobs in the military. And one of the things that I experienced over the years is how these companies will come and tell me, hey, you know, we send you guys, you know, to whatever conference you guys want to go. We just want you guys to come and see our product. Now, let's flip when I was working at this community college. For a second, they were thinking about getting a new LMS. And we had everyone. Desire to Learn, Blackboard, Pearson, and every week I will get a phone call. Hey, you guys want to go to lunch with us? We'll bring the whole team. You know, you guys can order whatever you want, get whatever drinks you want. Now, from that, let's jump into conferences. For a while, I was going to conferences, and what these people will do is like, hey, you know, if you talk about our product, we'll pay for you to go to the conference. And that was one of the things. But I want to key in on I don't know if it was Makisha that was talking about how these people, no, it was actually Justin that was talking about how the guy or the lady with the 70,000 followers. The problem with that is that you get to a point where I've been to a lot of conferences and I've seen these 70,000 followers kind of guy, and they give the same presentation conference after conference. And I'm like, okay, so what are you talking about? And what bothers me is that you got all these educators in the crowd and they buy it. You know what I mean? They drink the Kool-Aid and oh, that's the greatest book. That's professional development. You know, no, that's not professional development. Professional development is when you trying to figure out what's wrong in your school and you start learning yourself through your own education how to fix the problem. Not because somebody hands you a book and tell you, hey, this is the latest and the greatest, and that's how we're going to fix education. And I'm not a teacher. Like I say, I'm just a guy. A lot of people at that community college that I worked at is like, no, you're a teacher. I'm like, no, I don't like to be called a teacher. You know why? Because the moment that I get that title in my resume, that's the moment that I'm going to stop learning. As long as I continue to have that thirst, that hunger for knowledge, I'm going to continue to learn, and I don't need nobody's book. I just decide to read my own books, and I pick from all of the ones that are out there.
Nice. Always dropping a real Annabelle. Love it. All right, sir. So let's start with Annabelle and then go around. So what influences you in your school district to buy the new education product?
You know, a lot of times the teachers have a say in what they want, but I think many times they really don't know what they want. And I'll give you an example. I was in charge of getting a lecture capture system. And I contacted 5 different companies. And like Andrew was saying, I actually didn't believe in none of the 5 companies. You know, I was like, you know, this is not what they want. They can't even make a simple video, yet they want a lecture capture system. So you see what I'm going with this? So another example, my son's school. They got Power School. They got all these other systems that are kind of like overlapping over each other. And the districts are spending millions of dollars for like 3 different systems that actually do the same thing. And they're only using one feature out of each one of those systems. So I think that is a problem, because what's happening is the EdTech scene got so commercialized that whatever somebody comes and throw at you, that person gets in the superintendent or whoever it is in charge, and they just sell it. They like Andrew was saying, you know, like he was trafficking people. Well, the EdTech people, that's what they in charge of. They in charge of trafficking, peddling the next thing, you know, even if it's not the next thing.
So your super makes the decision? Is that is there a teacher?
No. Well, when I was working at that community college, the president actually made the decision, but it was based on the advice of the IT director. So whatever basically the IT director said, that's what they went with. And that was one of the problems that I had, and the reason why I actually ended up leaving the place, because to me, instructional technology, instructional design doesn't have anything to do with the IT department. Yes, it's technology, but it's a different kind of technology. Yeah. You know, because once we start focusing so much in the technology, basically the learning is out the window. When the first question should be, what is the need? Is this product going to meet a need? Is it going to help my students get from point A to point B? And if it's not doing that, and you're just buying it because you want bells and whistles, let's look at what happened in LA. They wanted iPads. And they got almost $1 billion boondoggle of iPads that they didn't know what the heck they were going to do with. So that's a perfect example of EdTech going wrong.
Keisha, who decides in your district?
I'm at a private, small independent school. So I would say our technology director, when it comes to the big systemic technology, the technology director pretty much pulls the trigger on what we'll get as a school. And Annabelle, you know, I'm with you. You know, IT should not drive instruction. Instruction should drive IT. And when IT starts driving instruction and teachers kind of have to fit into whatever they get, that becomes a problem. And so yeah, that's sort of the boat that we're in at my school. Now, some of the smaller purchases, like as far as some of the digital tools the teachers may use in the classrooms and whatnot, we can get together as a group of teachers and look at different things and then decide on smaller purchases like that. But, the big things, the Google, the Microsoft 365, the big things, that's pretty much a one-person operation who gets to kind of pull the trigger on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Makisha. I'm fortunate in that I'm in a school where funds aren't really an issue. I'm in quite a wealthy school in a wealthy district. When big decisions need to be made, we have a ton of committees. So lots of teachers are encouraged, because obviously in a large school, there's not that many opportunities for so many teachers to take leadership positions. So we're often encouraged to step up and sit on committees. So there is a feeling that when a decision is made, there's been a lot of input from a number of individuals from each department. So I think that certainly in my building, teachers feel like they do have a say. And at department level, you can just put in a request. There's always money, and we even have funding that every year just goes unspent. We're very fortunate. We're not a typical school.
So Jorge wants to know, where's your USA pillow?
If you let me run upstairs, I can go and get one.
Yeah, my school, we have a committee. It was interesting though. We got Chromebook carts, and they were just put in teachers' rooms. They didn't even know. They had no idea. They walked in last summer and the first day of school, and they had Chromebook carts. They didn't know they had to plug them in. Literally, the Chromebooks were dead. They go, "What happened?" I go, "Well, you have to plug the carts in." No idea, no training. But we do have a committee. We talk about everything, so it's doing pretty well in my school. So next, Makisha, how do you learn about new education products? Love the.
All right. So I was a PR major, PR communications major, undergraduate. And one of the things we always used to say is you have to keep your pulse on what's going on. So I would say that one of the things that I do, even though I may not always be on social media, I'm always there kind of lurking to see some of the things that educators are using, some of the things that they are integrating into the classroom. Google Groups as well. I get a lot from that, from following different people in there and seeing what people are using, what's working for people, what's not working for people. Boxer, of course, but also in the Metro Atlanta area where I am, a lot of the schools are connected in the area where I am. So we kind of know what each other is doing at those schools. And, that's kind of how I stay connected to what's going on.
Yeah, I think everybody is probably nodding at their computer right along with you right now.
Yeah.
And you're muted, so that's a fantastic. I love when that happens. Although that's great. We mute ourselves when we're not talking, just so you know.
Sorry,
so you don't hear all
missed the question. I went to get my pip. I'm sorry.
Right.
Move on. Just ignore me. I've got nothing to say.
All right, Annabelle, how do you keep your finger on the pulse?
If I have to tell you my secret, I will have to hurt someone here. But I'll tell you, I'm not. I don't mind sharing my secrets. What I do is I follow hashtags. I create lists and I follow hashtags that I think is like something that is going to happen or something that I'm interested in. That's one of the things that I do. And then another thing that I do is I have an affiliate account. So I set up all the topics from all the different blogs, The Verge, you name it, Google, Microsoft, all of the big companies. And in that way, I stay up with whatever is actually happening or they're releasing as it comes out. And I get that delivered to my inbox every day. And I spend about 5-10 minutes every day just reading because I'm in the business of trying to help teachers, integrate technology in the classroom. So I got to know what's going on. So that's what I do.
All right, now this gets to the crux of our problem right here, though. We talk about social media. So you're on social media, you're following the hashtags, we're following these rock stars, and we go, okay, you are the expert in your area. So if you come out and say something, I'm going to think you're endorsing it, you think it's a great product, blah, blah, blah. Today, I'm reading my feed. Alice Keeler is on there talking about some spreadsheet that she created with sight words, blah, blah, blah. Somebody else goes, well, why are you doing this when you don't believe in it? She goes, well, I created it just because I saw the need for it. And the lady's like, Amanda Rogers was like, so you don't believe in it, but you created it. And that's where the problem is right there, because Alice Keeler is all googly and we look for her for Google questions. By the way, don't direct message her ever. It has to be over public Twitter. Just an aside, that we take what she says as gospel. Oh my God, if Alice Keeler said it, boom, done. We got to follow it. Then you find out, well, some of the motivation behind it is not that she thinks it's fantastic. She thinks that she has to create something more into the Google so she could sell her Google books and do whatever googly stuff she needs to do, get paid to go to the conferences, get her keynotes, do all the things. And I'm not just harping on her. In the blog, I talked about Dave Burgess, the Teach Like a Pirate guy. He has a book, Teach Like a Pirate. If you've never read it, it's got some good stuff. I like the hooks. He has a chapter about hooks. That's fantastic. His whole book is about being the sage on the stage, literally being in the front, engaging your kids, doing all this. I don't have a problem with that. But then he produced Learn Like a Pirate by Paul Solars. He's all about giving control to the kids in the class, which is fantastic. I don't have a problem with that either. I really enjoyed both books. But when you look at Burgess and you see him promoting a book, it's not him saying, I think this is a great idea. It's him saying, I produced this book. I'm going to make money, buy this book so I get money. And that's where we get in this slippery slope that Keisha talked about before, where people aren't just saying things because they like it, because they want it, because they use it, they think it's the best product. There's an ulterior motive behind it. And if you're not clear in that, then you're leading people down the wrong path. And then you get called on it and you look like an idiot in front of the Twitter world. Keisha, any response to that?
Yeah, I do have a response to it, because here's the thing. Even though I haven't been in education for as long as a lot of the educators that I know, I have been in this ed tech world since I have been in education. And I feel like I can kind of tell what's the shiny new and what's the tried and true. And the problem is that a lot of teachers who are new to this may not be able to, they may take some of the things people say as gospel because they don't know any better, because a person has a lot of followers and what that person says must be the truth. And, you can't really blame the teachers who are new to it because they don't really know any better. But us who've been around for a while, we know a little bit better than to just trust any and everything that we hear. We know how to vet products a little bit more. And we know that, I feel like I know that sometimes paperless isn't always better. Sometimes, the books people push or the products people push isn't always the best, because I've kind of been around in the world. But again, you get a lot of these new people who haven't been around, and a lot of these people who are out there just saying anything, sometimes people kind of take it as gospel, right? That's kind of how I feel about it.
I'm going to jump in here. I mean, irrespective of the product that's being sold, you know your audience better than anybody else, right? So you're with your students day in, day out. So, it may be that Nike make the best sneakers, but if I know that Adidas suit my kids better, then irrespective of my love for Nike and the fact that I adore anybody who wears Nike, I have to go down the Adidas route as well. So I love from a PE perspective, I love pretty much everything that Jared Robinson puts out, but I don't use a great deal of his stuff because it doesn't work for my kids in my environment. So I'll check it out. I'll take a look at it because I trust his word. And here's a man who makes a lot of money off of what he produces as well. And yet we still see him as somebody that we kind of look up to in the PE world. And yet there are other people out there who are out there also trying to make money, and at the end of the day, we have mouths to feed and families to look after. And we kind of frown on them and think it's dirty that they're making money as well. So we do have to be careful as if we get too judgmental. I don't sell my stuff. I give my stuff away for free, but that's because, one, that's my own personal belief, and two, I feel like I get a good salary for doing what I need to do. If I was working in a school, my previous school, where I was earning, less than half of what I'm on right now, I'd be looking to make as much money off of everything that I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points. Annabelle?
I would like to add that, I don't know how many of y'all were watching the Easty feed while Easty was going on, but it was crazy insane the amount of books that they were peddling. And one of the things that I noticed, in every Easty that I've gone, it's like they automatically behind the scenes are actually planning what are the new books that are going to come out for the next Easty. And it's a business. The whole purpose of going to Easty, people think, okay, I'm going to learn about professional development, but behind the scenes is a whole machine about selling these wares and these books and all this new technology to teachers and to schools and universities and whatever. So I think, like Keisha was saying, you got to know what your students is, you got to know what your audience is, and don't just take whoever says, hey, this is the last thing. Because I'm sure, Justin, the same thing that you learn from that Teach Like a Pirate or now learn, as a pirate, you could have learned just by working with other teachers at your school and you guys coming up with your own ideas. Okay, this is what we need to reach out our kids. You might not call it Teach Like a Pirate, but it's what works for you, for your learners, because they're all different. So regardless of the book, at the end of the day, yeah, you can have that book and it's perfect. That should be used as a stepping stone, not as something that, hey, this is what I got to do and this is how I'm going to proceed with it. Now, if you're a new teacher, okay, that might be some good professional reading to get ideas, but that shouldn't define what your whole career as a teacher is going to be. You should come up with your own ideas.
It's not a blueprint. It's not like let's shove everything to the side, read the book, put this blueprint in, and then follow that. So you're absolutely correct there. And it is amazing that a lot of times I'm reading it going, I've done that. This is what I do, and all the time. So,
exactly. They just put it in a book and you have it inside your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've talked about this before. I have no problem paying for books. If you're going to put the time in to write a book and you want to get paid for it, no problem. My problem is when you're peddling your influence out there with gain and you're not exactly transparent. That's where my problem is. So you're telling me how great it is and you're not believing it. That's where I go, well, there's something wrong with that out there. And then you're teaching the children on top of that. So we expect it to be shady from politicians. We expect salesmen to be shady. We don't expect the teaching community to have that same shadiness. Yet, money is money. And like Andy's saying, if you're struggling out there, you're chasing a dollar. And I work 17 jobs. I feel it. I love money. But at the same time, I personally find it hard to charge my cohorts, the people in education, for things. And that's me. I wrote a whole thing, but that's another talk for here. All right. So here's a question for you, Annabelle. Would you ever endorse a product that you did not love if you would receive something in return?
No, I wouldn't. And I was, you can look at it now because all the videos are gone. For a while, I was interviewing all of the guys that were going through the K-12, Imagine K-12 startups. I was interviewing all of those guys. And one of the things that I would ask him was, why do you think that your product is different? How do you think that your product is going to make a difference? And I always kind of got like a stump reaction because they didn't believe that I was asking them, hey, just straight up tell me that your product sucks or not. And they didn't want to say it right there in camera because I was doing this Google Hangouts. But the bottom line is no. I will look at a product and I will judge it for what it is. And I will tell them, hey, this is what I think about it. And now I let the teachers make the decision if that's what is best for their kids. Because I cannot honestly, no matter what conference you send me or whatever, if I don't believe in the product, no, I'm not going to endorse it. Absolutely not.
Andy?
Yeah, there's only one product that I'm involved with, Student Health 101, which is an online health magazine for kids. and I wasn't interested in receiving anything for me personally. I managed to secure free access for all of my students for the last 2 years. No, there's no way I could stand by any product that I don't believe in. No, just no.
Keisha?
How much money are we talking about, Justin?
Pick a number that's going to entice you. For real, pick a number that's going to entice you.
I mean,
20 grand,
honestly,
40 grand, 60, 100, 150.
What product is that?
Because honestly, I've never, and this is the honest to God's truth, I've never been a quote unquote paper chaser. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just never been the end goal for me. I guess what I want to do is, that's just never been an end goal for me, to make money like that, to the point where I would do something that I feel like I would have to think about forever and would just, wear on my conscience. So, but I think there's people out there who have a price for sure.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sure there are.
I guarantee you there's people that have a price. And for me, that's why I like the blab, because I don't know, or the blog we did, I don't know how many people knew where I lay with certain things, because I love Seesaw. I will tell everyone and their mother about how great Seesaw is. It's fantastic. I'm not an ambassador for them yet. I may be in a month or two if I do some kind of web something or whatever. So I love it. I get nothing from it. Voxer. I was so mad at Voxer when they started highlighting other educators before, because I could say, honestly, I don't think there's a harder seller of Voxer in the world out there than I am. I've written blogs on it. I tell everyone. I tell your grandmother, Annabelle, you didn't even know. I told your whole family about Voxer already.
Yeah, you told me to quit Twitter to join Voxer.
Maybe not go that far. Maybe use them in conjunction. But again, I want to be clear that there's really no money. The only thing I could say is Spark, which is a phys ed curriculum. They bought me a couple meals at a couple different conferences. One of them was in Atlantic City. It was a buffalo chicken cheesesteak. It was fantastic. But again, I love the product, so I don't care. If I love your product, whether you're going to sell me or not, if you want to pay me to sell it, that's fine, because I love it. But if I don't love the product, I'm not going to tell people, because my word is my brand. It's who I am. As soon as I tell you something once and you go, this sucks, you're never going to listen to me again. You're never going to take anything I say seriously. We have Tutul in the house. Mr. Detective Tutuola, can you tell us what's going on, sir? What do you have to say about this?
So my question, is there a number, like Keisha's paused for a second, but is there a number like an ed tech company and they came and gave you a boatload of money and it's more than you're making at your current position? Would we really say, no, I can't because I'm morally opposed? Or would you take it and say, yeah, it's just business. Got to do what I got to do. Got to feed my kids. I mean, that's my question.
Keisha, right to you. He corrected it.
I don't think there's a number for me. And I wouldn't tell anybody about it, because I know there's some people in my family that might be like, sure, you should have went ahead and took that. We could have been riding in a Corvette right about now. I'm cool with my Toyota.
Nice.
You got Mercedes Benz though. I can get you a Mercedes Benz.
Annabelle, what do you think? Anything? There's nothing that they could do?
No, it's nothing. Trust me, it didn't work in the Army, and I had contractors offering me more than $50,000 to sign up on certain contract. You know what I mean? $100,000 if I pass these contracts up to the next level. I'm just not going to compromise my integrity, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You gotta live with your conscience, and I can just sleep good at night thinking that I took somebody's money and now I'm just a puppet mouth for them. You know what I mean? Just to say whatever it is that, no, because when I don't take their money, I can say whatever I want to say, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, I love being an establishment. I love it. I love being able to hate on anything out there and not worry. Am I going to say something and my endorsers or promoters going to be mad at anything I say? Jacqueline saying everyone has a price. I guess legalities would have to be there as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, Justin.
No, you're good. Speak up, Keisha.
Okay, I was going to say that it was brought up in one of the chats about people who can sign purchase orders. And because I can sign purchase orders, I could not even imagine, like, if some of the people at school were like, you know what, Keisha signed this, and they gave her $50, $100 to bring it into the school. I mean, I'm thinking, about the legal issues around that.
That's how you do your job.
There's no amount of money I would take to go to jail. I'm sorry. There's just not. But I will say this. I'm in a pretty good, I'm in a good space right now. So I don't feel, I'm definitely not hungry. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a good space right now.
Tutul?
But look at the superintendent, our old superintendent out here in LA, signed that huge contract with Apple. Now, we don't know if he got a kickback, but you get an ed tech company to a huge district like that, and they're gonna break you off a couple of $100 G's. I mean, I don't know how realistic that is, but are we really gonna say no? Like, Justin, I'm gonna break you off like huge sums of money. Well, you take it and walk away and do something else with it, or are you gonna say no?
Well, I think legalities has a huge part in it as well. Am I going to be able to sleep at night legally wondering, are they going to come and take it? And then I'm not going to have a job on top of it. So if it was legal, then now we're talking a different story. I mean, Jacqueline said $1 billion. If an ed tech company came to me with $1 billion, she got me. I mean, my brand is not worth $1 billion. I mean, $1 billion, you got me. I'm sorry. If somebody knows anyone with $1 billion, I will be sold for $1 billion. I would never be able to turn it down. We have Dr. Dorian in the house, the brainchild behind DC TV 430. This is so exciting. So many cool people hanging out tonight. What's going on, Dr. D? What did you have to chime in with?
Really, all I really want to say, good evening, everybody. All I really want to say is, as we spoke about it before, and I will continue to say, Makisha, Justin, excellent job on the blog. I think it's brought up some great conversation this week. But I will continue to say, if we were treated as a respected profession, this would not be an issue. If we were treated like we worked at Quicken Loans, if we got all the perks and benefits and things of that nature, this would not be so much of an issue. As you guys know, I'm from Detroit Public Schools, and we had 13 principals indicted for taking kickbacks. One principal took over $1 million in kickbacks. Those, I'm telling you, she got her gutters done. I think she got her gutters clean. What else she get done? Do you remember? It was in the paper. My girlfriend Liz is here.
Liz.
One driving the Maserati.
Yeah, we had one driving the Maserati. It's real sticky, and I just feel that if teachers were treated like you see the Keenan Peele video when they talk about us being drafted like athletes and catching us in the classroom, I don't know, using the PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff. If we were really treated as a strong profession and a respected profession, we wouldn't have to dig so deep. Money wouldn't seem so big. If you were, and I'm just gonna throw a number out there, if you were making 6 figures, let's say you were making $90,000 or $100,000, just being in the classroom, doing what you normally do. I mean, how many of us would really go into administration? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's just a thought. It's just a thought. So furthermore, to conclude my thoughts, my point of view before I get kicked out the group.
Hey, that's only happened twice.
I just feel that it's a good topic, it's a good discussion, but it makes me, when I look at Twitter, and I'm sorry I'm coming in late, so I don't know what points you guys have hit and what you haven't hit, but when I look at Twitter and I hear people say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. The only person I know that says that is on Sweetie Pie's on the OWN network, and she owns a restaurant in St. Louis. Shout out to Chevette. Then it's like, okay, so what you really doing this for? Who are you really doing this for? And I think that almighty dollar sometimes can deter us for making our profession the best it can be. But I also believe we need to be treated as such, so we don't have to worry about chasing that dollar. Everybody needs security.
Yeah.
And financial stability provides security. And if you don't have that, you always worrying about, while you at the board, while you in your little literary circles, while you doing whatever, you know, are they coming to cut the lights on at my house tonight? Let's keep it real.
But like they're saying on the side, it's all about greed. I mean, really, that's a lot of it. You look at it, when is enough enough? So let's say like those superintendents, they were making 90, 100, 150,000. It just wasn't enough. When is enough enough? And that is really the problem. Because right now I could say, all right, the study came out that said like 75,000 is like the amount you need to be happy in life. Anything over that causes you problems. Under it, you can't pay your bills. If I get to 75, then I'm gonna want 90. Then if I get to 90, then I'm like, well, let me get to 110 because I need this and that. And that is the point. We have Jacqueline over there. Jacqueline needs to just get in here to Tool. You're right.
She does.
Over here,
Dropping about mobile myself
on the side. All right. So the last question for us, the last question. How do we continue to be critical consumers of products? What do you do to make sure that you don't just go, okay, I know Justin, and Justin, you know, talked about this. I'm going to go get it. What do you do to make sure that you always stay critical? Tutul will go first.
I think first you have to look at yourself. You got to look at what you're interested in and kind of what your motivation is, and find things and people that kind of tie into that. But then also, I think being a connected educator, because that allows you to be connected, like you guys are all over the country. Keisha, you're in Atlanta, right? And Justin, you're in Jersey, and you guys aren't here in my backyard. So the fact that you guys aren't here in my backyard, you have a different perspective, and that helps me think. So just being connected, I think just knowing what your objective and your motivation is.
And I think that's key right there, building your PLN with people you trust. So I can't just go with my little, you know, oh, they have this many followers, though they're considered an expert. I want to know, have you used it in the classroom? How's it affected your students? Was it easy? Did everyone get on board? And then from there, can I bring it into my classroom? Like if Andy Milne says, oh, I bought the app cost $20 and each kid had the app in my class, I know I'm not going to get that. So I can't really go after it. Or somebody goes, oh, my kids did this. And I go, well, my infrastructure can't handle it. Or I don't have that, you know, whether it's a Droid device and I only had iPads or vice versa. Keisha, how do you stay critical?
I want to see the product. I want to touch the product. I want to feel the product. I want the teachers to have a trial of the product, and I want to try it out with the students and let them almost be the decision makers. Once again, like I said, I feel like I'm pretty decent at kind of ignoring the shiny new and filtering that out. So once it gets to the point where we're thinking about something for the school, I want to try it out. I want to see how it works. I want to see how easy it is for the teachers to use and to integrate into the classroom. I want to see it from the teacher's perspective, and I want to see what that's like from the student's perspective as well. I mean, that's how I stay critical of products, and I want to know how other people are using it in the classrooms. So that's how I stay critical.
How do you get your free trials?
You have to ask for the free trials. Like a lot of times, the people, the organizations, the companies will give you a demo trial. You know, they'll like it's like almost like a dummy account that they'll set up for you, so you can kind of do the trial of it that way. And then sometimes they have it online where you can just sign up for a free 15-day or a free 30-day trial. And then if it's the really, really big ones, like when we did our big Schoology purchase, we got to kind of demo that, the enterprise version of that. So yeah, just got to ask for it.
Nice. Mr. Enlick, nice of you to show up to your own blabbermouth. What's going on?
Yeah. Finally, my son fell asleep. So
Nice.
like 10:30 at night, you know.
So how do you stay a critical consumer with your budget of $0 per year?
Yes, that is key. Now, I think, again, going with what a lot of people said as far as checking in with people that you know, that you trust and respect, but also making sure that it aligns with what your needs are. So, I mean, there's tons of apps that come out every day. There's different technology that comes out all the time, but if it's not going to, you know, enhance your teaching, enhance your students' learning, you know, then it's just, you know, all flash and, you know, no substance. And I think a lot of times school districts get into that too often as well. We're in a big push of going one-to-one with iPad minis, which next year it'll be 4th grade through 12th grade. We've had zero training in the 3 years that we've had iPads. There's been no teacher training. There's been no nothing. It's just thrown. They walk in one day and there it is on their desk, and you know they're expected to use it. Same thing. They drop them in the kids' hands, and there's absolutely no training. So we kind of have to make stuff up as we go, and it's really just so that they can say, you know, wherever they want to say at their board meetings or whatever else, hey, look, we're pushing technology. We're 21st century school. It's more, in my eyes, more for show than anything else, because a lot of teachers aren't utilizing it. So I think being able to take and see what people are doing, I really want to see projects that they're doing, because that shows me what work can be done and what the students can do, or what me as a teacher I can do with that product. And then I can determine whether or not it's something that's going to be useful for me or not. So it's great to hear what it can do, but I'd like to see that product or see it in action as well before just jumping in.
Yeah, that's huge. And I like how Keisha talked about there's always two ends to it. There's the teacher end and the student end. And sometimes it might work really well for the student. On the teacher end, you're in all kinds of issues, and vice versa. You know, I might like it from my teacher part where the analytics are fantastic. I get all this information, and the students are so frustrated when they use it, or it's not intuitive, they don't like it, or I'm spending more time teaching how to use it than actually teaching the content that I need to get to, that it's not even worth it. So you're absolutely right on that. All right, people, that brings us to the end of the BlabberMouths. Nick, anything to tell the crowd?
No, just sorry I hopped in late. I was watching earlier, so it was a great conversation. Guests were awesome, so thank you. And love the joint blog as well. I thought it was really good, so read that this morning, and thought it was really well put together.
Nice. Keisha, anything to tell us? How does it feel to the first blab you've been on?
I like it. I like the interaction. It's fine. It's funny. You know, I don't know. It's fun. I keep kind of, you know, looking at myself in the camera. I know people on the side probably noticed that. But I'm having a lot of fun with it.
You cannot favorite yourself. Try that. I try at least once a thing because I like so much what I'm doing. I try to favorite myself. Anyway, I say the same.
See, if you see a dummy account up there, that's Justin on his other computer, and he's like it. Yeah,
that's me. Well, I end the show the same way every time. Thank you for spending any amount of time with us. If you're listening afterwards on the Voxcast, we appreciate it. If you came live, we appreciate it. If you're ever on the side and you want to jump in, there'll always be an opportunity. So again, time is our most precious commodity. The fact that you spent it with us is fantastic. Everyone have a good evening. And again, thanks, Keisha. It was a fantastic collaboration.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye.